Hey everyone, and welcome to a very exciting feature today. I'm here with Felix and Thomas to talk about N4 tournament statistics. So we're going to be having a look at the last kind of 2 years of events. So we're going to get started first of all with a broad overview of the number of events, and then we're going to look at individual factions. I am your host for today. I'm Headchime, or Ollie. Yeah, this will be uploaded to the IGL YouTube channel. How are you, Felix and Thomas?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
I hope it will be an interesting video for all of it.
I hope so too. I'm really excited about this, actually. It should be very interesting. Let's get started. So do you want to just talk us through the broad overview? How many events have there been? How many people have played events and that kind of stuff?
I think it will start with a short disclaimer. Generally, these are the publicly available ITS data sets. I pulled them directly from ITS via a crawler and cleaned up the data set and put it into an analytics software. For context, it's currently reduced to only tournaments, so I ignore league entries, because leagues we know is normally escalation leagues, so they would skew the data with everybody playing the starter sets they bought. So that's not very interesting. Then I only included reported events. So for everybody who forgot or didn't report the event using the report button in OTM, didn't catch that. And only legal events. This is marking by me. Legal events, I removed every event where the victory points and objective points weren't legal, like when there are some events where somebody entered like 300 objective points instead of the victory points, also skew the data.
Okay, so you've sorted it to tournaments first of all, got rid of leagues, and filtered out data that's not legal.
Yeah, not legal and not reported, because not reported events still could be running or it could be aborted. So this would also skew the data set.
That makes perfect sense to me. I guess the usual disclaimer also applies that sometimes people will play custom missions and report them as other missions. I say that because Hell Lois has told us to do that before. Sorry. But this doesn't happen very often. I think it's only if you're running multiple custom missions, because actually I believe, am I correct, that OTM does have the function to report a single custom per tournament?
You can enter a custom mission per tournament.
You can enter one.
One. Okay. I would say head offender, because all my tournaments I organize, I always play 3 custom missions. So
it does happen, and it's also interesting that custom mission is actually a reasonably popular pick there, right? If supplies is on 211 times played, customs on 99, so people are playing custom missions.
Yes. Okay, but before we got too far,
let's not do that right now.
Let's start on the top row. There are some valuable KPIs of things. So we have a data set of 905 events played since October 2020, so the start of N4, till October 2022, where it did the cutoff, because I pulled the data monthly, so November data is not completed yet.
Sure.
We had in total around 10,000 participants and 3,300 distinct participants. So we can say each person visits around 2 to 3 tournaments.
That makes sense, yes. Yeah.
And the average participation size is 11.
Okay.
The next to our participation rate, this is how much of the maximal participation was filled in the event. So on average, 37% of the maximum capacity was filled. And one statistic I'm always very annoyed about is only 52% of participants submitted their lists. to here on call for everybody, please submit your lists. It's not only for us to analyze, but also for Corvus Belli.
Yeah.
And the less data they have, the less clear
they have as well,
the less they can do.
The decision can be.
Yeah. So people, please submit your lists. Only about half of people are doing it at the moment. So come on, let's step up our game.
Good.
Yeah. So people on average are entering roughly about 3 events, and the average event is about 11-ish players large.
People down here we can see 60% of the events are smaller than 10 people.
Wow, that's really small.
And the next big chunk is 32% is 11 to 20, and 30 to over 50 are like
very small.
Yeah, less than 10%.
Yeah. So of the truly large tournaments of 40 plus, we're probably looking at 1 or 2% of all the events.
Yeah, it's 40 to 57 with 0.8 and 9 with 50 or more with 1%.
Right. So at 1%, we're talking about probably 9, 10 events, something like that.
Yeah, 9 events.
Yeah.
So currently Infinity is still a game with very small event sizes compared, I think, to 40k, where you normally have like at least 20 people standing around.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And before we started recording today, you compared this to N3, and it looked as though since COVID, it's halved the number of events.
Here we can see on the timeline October 2020 till like April 2021, we were still pretty much in COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
Very small number of events.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think, TTS events, so online events and stuff. And then till May 2021, we have a slow recovery to around 45 to 50 events per month.
Yeah. Okay.
If we compare it to the data we have for N3, it's the same setup with the data from February 2018 to November 2020. So a small overlap to the N4 data. There we had 1,790 events.
Yeah.
And you can see here on average around 75 per month.
Yeah.
So we can see that after COVID, the tournament scene still haven't recovered yet, and we're still lagging behind. The event size wasn't that different. We can say it was like 55% under 10 persons, 35, 10 to 20, and again under 10% over 20 participants.
Okay, so the structure of events hasn't really changed. We're still running roughly the same things. It's just we're not running as much.
Yeah, we're not running as much events.
Yeah. Okay.
Another statistic, which is pretty interesting, specials have pretty much vanished. 80% of all events are played without any special.
Okay.
Compared to before with only 56%.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So since COVID, specials have pretty much completely left the scene.
That's a large number of Soldiers of Fortune, actually.
It is.
Yep.
12%. Wow.
12% before. Now it's shrunk to 4%. So people seem to not really play specials anymore.
And
I think.
I was just going to say, isn't it interesting in N3 that was it 17% are running tactical window or limited insertion? That's 10, about 18% actually. 18%.
And tactical window was only available for, I don't know.
It was at the end, wasn't it?
The last season or so?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then hit with COVID, so it's pretty interesting that it was so. This could be the reason why they switched the list building requirements, because they thought it was very popular.
It was quite popular, wasn't it? That's interesting, because it only hit for the last couple of months or year, and it already had 7%, 7.5%.
Adoption rate.
Yeah, that's interesting.
If you would look like for 2019 or so, and then you probably have like a quite bigger chunk of tactical window tournaments.
Possibly.
I guess at least.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
Oh, you can filter. Nice.
Tactical window, 27%.
27% in November 2019 till the end. So
it was popular.
Pretty popular as soon as it arrived.
That's interesting. Okay, cool. But these days in N4, people are not really using the extras very much.
Even Soldiers of Fortune and Spec Ops, which before were on 10, over 10% respectively, not taking anymore, like 4% and be both at 4%.
Okay.
Strong shift in the meta, I would say.
Yes.
Away from specials.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what's definitely missing is like a limited insertion, which is not a special anymore.
Yeah.
You can't choose to do that. It's just not there, so
yeah. Yeah, anyway, just having a look at those stats, that is very interesting. So what about missions? What are people playing in their tournaments?
Missions, currently we can see the top 5 missions: supplies, firefight, frontline, acquisition, and unmasking.
All pretty solid missions.
Pretty solid missions. I would say the top 4 are, I think that's tournament closer missions, the easy, simple missions at last, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then followed by like unmasking supremacy, countermeasures and stuff, like the high octane, very interesting missions. Normally the tournament is built around.
Yeah.
And as you said before, custom missions at 99. Over 10% of tournaments play with a custom mission, which I think is pretty cool, because there are a lot of very nice custom missions out there on mission sets or people think about.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of custom missions. I think they're good.
And then on the back end, we come in the early ages of ITS 14.
Yeah.
We already have 14 pickups of cybernetics, I think, in 1 month.
Cryogenics.
Cryogenics in 1 month. So this seems to be a mission people also play, even with the weird scoring model. And the missions not really like safe area, rescue, armory, biotech war. Okay.
Not very popular. No.
Not very popular.
So just a quick note to people watching. Obviously, it looks like cryogenics isn't popular, but it actually is. It's only been out for a month or 2.
It's had 1 month to be played, and 13 tournaments in October of the 53 have played with cryogenics. So around 20% of the tournaments.
What's 13 out of 53? Yeah. About that. About 25%. 25%.
So a lot of people actually tried the mission, and we will see if it's picked up continuously now.
That's interesting. It's interesting that there seems to be a reasonably large drop-off between decapitation and frostbite. It goes from 159 to 138. So I wonder if there's like a kind of higher tier of missions, which is decapitation onwards, that are popular, and then it drops a little bit. I'm guessing.
You can see here it's a pretty linear decline for the most part, compared to before, where we had like these high performing missions, still supplies, acquisition, frontline, unmasking, firefight, and then a steep drop off, and then a slow decline.
Highly classified.
That's in free data now. So
that's in free data now. So you can see there's a change in the way missions are picked. So it's a much slow decline. So I would say there's not that many standout missions as before. Much more evenly distributed.
Yes, there's a much wider pool of missions that people are running, I think.
Right.
Okay. Does that pool of missions change by meta? If you go into the US, does that graph change at all?
Yeah. We can see.
They don't run supplies as much.
Supplies is not much run that much in the US. Acquisition, unmasking, mindweb, firefight, much still very popular. Custom mission falls off strongly, so they're not that popular there. I think for the event size and the specials, there's no real difference. What we can see, Americans, guys,
it's even worse.
Missions. Get your grips together. If we compare it to the Spanish meta, I would say, here you can see supplies very popular.
Love supplies in Spain. Okay.
And then there's the strong drop off with acquisition supremacy, countermeasures, and highly classified high up. So they surely play other missions, and we can see they also like specials.
They do
more than the average. Still 50%. List submitted rate, not good. And then if you go to Australia, here we also see acquisition, firefight, supremacy, frontline, capture plane, and custom missions pretty high up.
Custom missions are high there in Australia.
In Australia, and specials still not very popular, but we can see nice chunk of 11 to 20 person tournaments.
So they're running slightly larger events on average in Australia. Yeah. I guess the average has only gone up by 1 or 2 people, but it's a bigger chunk.
Yeah, the bigger chunk, but still list submissions.
Interesting.
It's not so good. And just for the fun of it, the German meta, we are from it. Custom mission 25.
Beautiful. That's very funny.
Also like 80% list submitted.
Very good. You're putting everyone else to shame. That's really funny.
Not that many tournaments yet.
Okay. Russian, I think I will click through some meta, so everybody who is interested in their own meta can
have a look.
Pause for a second. UK, Canada, I think France, Poland, Italy, and Sweden, because they are all the bigger matters.
Interesting.
So it's a rough overview over the general tournament statistics.
So that's the global view. What shall we discuss next?
Next I would say we can go to the faction overview.
Okay.
On this graph we can see again on the top some these are the faction-based analysis of the tournament performance.
Okay.
Again, because only 50% of the lists are submitted, I only know the faction of 50% of the participants.
Makes sense.
So there's a problem. We don't know the other 50% what they done, but we can make educated guesses based on it shouldn't be based on a faction that someone doesn't provide his list of their list, and so we can at a sample size of around 5,000 data points with of lists that were submitted, we should have a reasonable viable basis for at least some.
So can I just check? Sorry, is it 5,000 lists? Is that what you're saying, roughly?
Yeah, with I think 10,000 participants and 52% submitted lists.
Makes sense. Yeah. So you've got about 5,000 lists. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it like what is it? Is it average that everyone brought in one list or 2 lists? So
Okay, that's I don't have it. The submitted list is submitted at least one list. So if someone is submitted 1 or 2 is irrelevant for this.
But do you have also like the whole sample size of how many lists you have?
10,000.
10,000.
Yeah. So
a lot of
nearly everyone put in like 2 lists.
I guess that would make sense.
Yeah. So
is this popularity? This graph, this one here.
This graph is the number of participants per faction.
Okay.
Split by sectorial in the army ranking. So it's Corregidor, Bakunin, Tunguska, for example, here for all the Nomads players. On the top, shortly, we have the average players' perfections. The top rank, that is a metric I will explain later.
Okay.
The tournament points per participant, objective points per participant, and victory points per participant over the whole tournament.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then we have this graph, which is the number of participants per factions and sectorials.
So just to clarify, this isn't the number of lists. This is the number of participants.
Participants that played with the corresponding factions.
That makes sense.
Because we have a dark number of around 50%. We can guess that the actual number is double from what we see here. Naturally, back here, for example, by Ikari Company, it's such a small sample size. It gets a little bit wonky. It could be that there's this super awesome Ikari player who pushes up, who always submitted submits their list.
Yeah.
And nobody else plays Ikari, but we don't know that.
Yeah, that makes
sense. We just can guess.
So, especially for the less popular factions, it's quite difficult to read too much into the statistics because we don't really know.
So as soon as you have, for example, we have the tournament performance data, the match performance data, and the list data for Ikari Company, we only have 26 data points. It's very hard to extrapolate. Okay, it could be, as I said, this super awesome Ikari player who wins every tournament, and suddenly Ikari is number 1 in the world, and but no, we play everybody else who plays Ikari never submits a list, so we don't know they play Ikari and always scores last.
Yeah, so it's really hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, especially with the smaller sample size. As soon as you go in the higher sample size, like 100 or something, you can get like a better. The more sample size, the bigger the sample size for each faction is, the better the data outcome you can read into.
That makes sense. So can I just ask a quick question? Sorry, you might have explained this, but I just want to make sure. Let's take Ikari where it says 26 participants. Is that 26 distinct people, or could that be one person that's played Ikari 26?
One person could have played Ikari 26 times.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Okay, so when...
This is the distinct participants. So 20 distinct people have played Ikari at least once.
Okay. That makes sense.
And you can, for example, with the switch here, you can see, for example, when we look at combined army, that when you switch, you see combined army gets even higher when you play switch with distinct and participant. This means people play combined army very often, multiple times.
Right. That makes sense. So they have, So
they have a steady player base with players not switching to other factions.
So the way that's indicated is that you have, relative to the player base, you have lots and lots of instances of that faction being played.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So what are the most popular ones here? Let's just have a scan through what's being played.
We have combined army vanilla. Followed by, I think, military orders to Shasvasti, Japanese, OSS.
That's so interesting. JSA is very popular.
Corregidor. Yeah.
I would not have
always popular, we have to say, in N3, the most popular faction.
Wow, that's amazing. Really?
JSA since they got their release and split up from Eugene, they never were unpopular.
That's
JSA
amazing.
always played.
Huh.
And if we go to the distinct participants,
Yeah.
you also can see there are also a lot of different people play JSA. It's not like always the same people play JSA. No, it's a lot of different people play it.
That's interesting. That does suggest that people play JSA once or twice and then stop, though, I think.
Yeah, they don't compared to Combined Army, they don't play JSA consistently on tournaments.
That makes sense.
But a lot of people pick up JSA.
Right. Yeah. People try out JSA at least once or twice. Yeah. And what's not being played? Not
being played, we have the discontinued armies, naturally. Merovingia, Capokalki, Accotentamento. Even Accotentamento is still Pano Vanilla, so nobody plays that.
Poor Pano.
Pano Vanilla is like the worst performing vanilla faction compared to Sectorials of all armies. As you can see, it's below all its thing. Imperial Service. I think this is especially visible because with the 15 order limit, hit Imperial Service pretty hard.
Yeah.
Pyramid game style, so it's fell up pretty strongly. And
then some of the NA2s as well. Yeah.
Naturally, the NA2s, because they're mostly a mix-up of different factions and not really with a strong faction identity.
Sure.
Except JSA.
Okay.
Not really that popular. What can be said is, I think, from the newer factions like Winter Force, White Banner, Rama, and so on, not that strong performing.
No.
The only one who really strike through is Cosmoflot.
Yeah. Is this before or after Morats? I guess some of the data's after Morats were released, and some of
it is after Morat. I don't know when was the Morat release.
Oh, I can't remember. Can any of you remember when that came out?
Was it ITS 13?
I think so. I can't really remember.
So for ITS 13 and 14.
So Morad Aggression Forces Action Pack was March 22.
March 22.
March 22. Okay, then.
So this year.
So only about
roughly 8 years. Roughly 8 months ago.
March 22. Yeah.
They are
then
quite
you can
popular.
see.
Yeah.
Then
they are more
very
popular now.
Especially.
Yeah.
You still can see the remnants of the high Shasvasti popularity when they get the update.
So actually, we can see that if an army gets a revamp or
re-release,
like a rework, they get much more popular because people are trying out the new units and liking them, and
that makes sense. Yeah, so newer armies or revamped armies become more popular.
So Hassassin looks good. Military
sense.
Orders looks good, and so on.
Cosmo looks good, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, Cosmoflot looks good. Corregidor looks good. They also have the starter packs.
Yeah. Okay, that's really interesting. So this is participation, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the number of participants for a faction. One thing, I think this was a question that was asked. Vanilla 2 sectorials. As you see, it depends on the faction. Like Pano completely gets snuffed out by its sectorials.
Yeah.
While O12 with Starmada, the vanilla dominates.
Yeah.
Nomad. Yeah. Vanilla isn't as dominant as most people think. The sectorials can keep up, but vanilla combined army is strongly dominant.
Sure. So in terms of participation, military orders is much more popular than vanilla Pano. Invincible Army is about as popular as vanilla Yujing, roughly. So lots of people are playing sectorials. This isn't performance data yet. This is just participants.
It's just participants.
Yeah. Okay, that's really interesting. Is there anything here that surprises you?
That vanilla Aleph is so low for me. That's but that could be because I'm in a meta where everybody plays vanilla Aleph.
That's funny.
It annoys me.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Okay. What would you like to showcase next then? Performance data or something else?
The performance data, I tend to go with this top % rank metric. This is a metric. This shows the relative placement of a faction within a specific tournament because the participation number for each tournament can be different. I cannot compare the first place in a 10 participant tournament to a 50% tournament. So I use the relative placement within the tournament. So the in the first place in a 10-man tournament is top 10%, and first place in a 50-man tournament is the top 2%. And this is this metric on average. This means the lower it is, the better.
Yeah, so you want to be in the top, like 1% would be really good. The top 100% is awful because it means you're near the bottom.
Yeah, and for this you can see the average is 54%. So this is the average because you can never be on 0% because you're always at least 1%. And stuff. And there you can see everyone who's below the 54 overperforms, everyone above underperforms compared to everybody else. Here you can see like what are the underperforming are, for example, Kabukalki.
That makes sense.
Tunguska, Dashan, on Pano Vanilla, which we have to say these are also factions which with very low participation count. So this is one of these instances where I could say this can be an instance where the data is a little bit skewed.
Because people aren't playing them as much, so we don't know.
We don't know if only the super good players or the super bad players play. So we don't know. We cannot say, for example, here Ikari Company is assumingly very good, but only 26 person played it.
Right. So even if 4 or 5 people did really well with Ikari, that could tilt the entire faction because there are hardly any participants.
Exactly.
So but we can see here is over the general average, best performing Aleph Vanilla. Followed by, I think, Combined Vanilla, and then we have some toss-ups between Assassin, Cosmoflot, and then Ikari, Steel Phalanx, Tohaa, and so on.
It's interesting that this graph seems moderately even, but there are a couple of outliers. Like there are some factions that are notably good or bad, but most things are sort of in the middle.
One thing I want to point out in this thing is the combined army graph. It's the most played faction and the best performing faction.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you.
Which nobody's really surprised, but this shows the high dominance of combined army in the current meta.
Combined army is extremely good. And I think prior to the changes a couple of months ago, I would have said they were easily the best faction in the game. Easily.
And because we have the data from them this time, it should still carry over these time with 4 points, net rods and stuff. Same we can say for Aleph Vanilla. It's played less, but it's still very high performing. Very overperforming.
How many distinct players do we have there?
120.
That's
66 distinct players.
66 players.
So a third of what Combined Army has. So
so not massive for Aleph, but quite a few.
Quite a few, but I think very high level play and very high level results because
really
we have a 0.05 difference to the next to the next best faction, and we see the high dominance of them there.
So if the question was put to you, are vanillas generally better than sectorials? I guess you can't really answer that question. It depends.
We have it depends on the faction you have. For Aleph,
yes.
For combined, I think these are the ones where most egregious.
Yeah.
Because for the others, it's pretty much on the level you expect from the rest of the faction. We see O12 Starmada pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yujing a little bit overperforming compared to the sectorials.
A little, yeah. Ariadna does about the same as Cosmo. They're about the same as each other.
Cosmo, and you have Tatari and Ranger Force. What is funny, Merovingia performed relatively good, even though it's discontinued.
All of those 5 players. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
how many?
25 people.
25. Okay. Well, those 25 Merovingia players are very good. So there you go.
So, but you can see without you have the Tartary Army Corps outlier. I'm still surprised with it because I thought Tartary would be pretty good, but they are played relatively highly, but perform relatively badly. I'm not sure. I'm not the Ariadna player. I just think they are pretty nice. But we can see vanilla Pano.
Not great. Yeah.
Not great.
What is the best Pano actually? Is it Shock Army?
It's Shock Army.
Okay.
Discontinued, still very good.
Very good.
Very nice package in the army.
I would like to. What I'd like to gently say to people watching this is there's a general belief that Vanilla Hack Islam and Vanilla Nomads are really, really good. Vanilla Hack, yes, looks pretty good. Vanilla Nomads, no, not so much.
Yeah, or a little bit above. A little bit underperforming. Vanilla Hack Islam and especially Hassassin
little bit overperforming.
Little bit and somewhat overperforming. So.
Yeah.
But as always, you don't know how many new players are picking up Vanilla Nomads or a different faction. So
this is true.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can't really tell, can we? Because we don't know who is playing these factions.
Right.
Tohaa very good.
And if we can look at statistic, if I still have it in here. Where is it?
This database is amazing.
It's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Oh, I have that. I have these.
Smaller 0.33. No. Oh, come on. So now we have the top 33% rankings.
How is this measured? In tournaments, you mean?
In tournaments, yeah. This is the top percent ranking. So this is like place 1, 2, and 3 in a 10-man tournament.
So you're taking every single tournament and you're looking at just the top third.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for this we have one moment. We have a number of 3,000 participants.
About 3,000. Yeah. Okay.
And so these are the results of the top performing.
This is quite even.
Players.
So of the top third, there's quite a big spread of...
Yeah, and there you can see the top 3%, then Pano Vanilla becomes pretty good.
That's interesting. Actually. That's really interesting.
But we also have to say we have very low count, but you can see the combined army.
So, but this is also interesting in itself. You know, if we look at the top third of placements, 155 combined army participants.
And you compared to all other armies, you also can see Aleph very evenly spread out across all its sectorials in the top rankings.
Yeah. Okay. Would you mind going back onto the performance graph again? This one. So what's a notable outliers on this? So 18% is our average here.
Yeah.
Ariadna's notably good. Merovingia we ignore because it's about one person.
Oh, we can look how many. Yeah, 10 persons.
10 people. What else is notably good? Vanilla Hack. So if you're a good player, Vanilla Hack is really good.
But Assassin becomes
not as good. That's interesting.
Not as good compared to the overall ranking, where they are even better than Vanilla Hack.
So on average, Assassins are slightly better, but if you look at just the top players, they're slightly worse.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You can see a very even distribution for Nomads.
Yeah, Nomads are just average.
Yeah. And else you can see not.
This is quite even. What I find interesting about this is that there seem to be more factions that are not that good than factions that are really, really good. I'm seeing like quite a lot of 0.21s, quite a lot of 0.2s.
Yeah, and then you have like outstanding ones, and I mean, Combined Army is like the one we really have to look for, because it has so many participants and
so
which one with it. Yeah. So it's consistently high performing.
Yeah, but if you think half of all people who played Combined Army are scoring in the top third of a tournament.
It's kind of gross. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And Ariadna as well does really well.
Yeah, Vanilla Ariadna.
And Hack Islam obviously is a good, very solid faction.
Yeah, but Nomads not as much, because I think this is the problem with Nomads, that they in top level play their very bad command structure with no chain of command and stuff can
be their downfall.
Hurt them very easily.
That can hurt, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nomads on both of the graphs you've shown, the top 33% and everyone, they seem to come out about average. They seem fine.
More average than other factions, for sure.
Yeah. So, a couple of questions. If someone were to ask, what are the top performing factions, we'd say probably Combined, maybe Ariadna, maybe Hack Islam. But it depends on where you're looking, though. Aleph, forgot that one. And if people were to ask, are Sectorials better than Vanillas? Well, it really depends. For Pano, no, that's not true. Oh, sorry, Sectorials are better. They are. But not so much for others.
if you are a good player, you are better off with Pano than with the Sectorials, which we saw with a 0.33 graph.
How many people have played Pano, actually? Did we look at that?
Yeah,
how many was it again?
14. And in total was 63.
Yeah, because I'm thinking in my head, I know of a couple of very, very good Pano players. So that might be indicative of that.
Yeah, number might be too small here again.
Yeah, again, as I said, the numbers become very wonky with
they are small, aren't they?
Cut down the data sets.
Yeah. So a couple of factions here stand out. I mean, Combined, obviously, popular and top performing. Ariadna, quite popular, top performing. Military Orders, popular, but not that well performing, I don't think.
Not that much, no.
Average.
Even, underperforming.
Slightly
underperforming,
Yeah. Okay.
One thing I want to look at here was the downfall of Tohaa. Tohaa got pretty much beaten in the dust before, the second most popular faction.
Yeah.
Now, lagging behind a lot of people, and
they're still good though. They're still good.
Yes, they're still good. Before they were top on top performer besides Aleph. Now they are pushed back a bit by some other factions. So they were. I think it was the Symbiomate nerf and stuff that pushed them back a bit.
Yeah, I mean they're still overperforming.
They're still
right? Like
overperforming, but not as much as they were before.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually if we think about Tohaa, because they were an extremely good faction And now they're not played as much, but they're still very good.
There might be also like, I don't know, players who played them less often, who dropped them just so.
Yeah, so it's just experienced players perhaps that are using them.
But yeah, I mean it's also an army which is not longer available to buy.
True.
That easily, so probably more veteran players than new players have them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, because there are selection biases, aren't there? Not everyone is going to pick up Kapikauki.
No.
Not everyone's going to pick up
sure.
Tohaa. So, yeah, very interesting. Okay. What should we look at next then?
Yeah, next we can go here. This would be the match results. So this is before it was the tournament ranking. Now it's the actual match results.
Okay.
Individually, with up here we have around 35,000 match results.
Okay.
Average, because we have winners and losses, 2.3 tournament points.
Yeah.
4.2 objective points, victory points, win-loss ratio a little bit higher because of the buy.
That makes sense.
Automatically gives you a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So matches. So at first we have number of wins. I think is not that interesting. I think the win-loss ratio is interesting. So how many wins do you get per
loss, basically?
Per loss.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this should roughly mirror the top performing, because if you win a lot, you should normally place a lot higher, and so have a lot better performance index. And we can see again, Aleph very strong, Combined Army very strong, Merovingia very strong.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a similar pattern.
Ariadna as well.
It's a similar pattern. You can see Kapikauki is very bad.
One really interesting question would be, I don't know that we have time to look at this, but I would wonder, what is a faction that has a high win-loss ratio but not as high top placement ratio? I.e. they get a lot of small wins but not major wins.
I think Assassin is like an example for it.
So very high win-loss ratio, but then if we look at the top performance, I don't think it's...
No,
they're very, very good. No, they are very good.
You can see it's, for example, it's a Merovingia, which is a good performing, but
very
high win ratio. It has an
So lots of small wins for
Merovingia. Lots of small wins, because if you look, Ariadna has a lot smaller, but it's higher placing.
And Yujing has quite an average win-loss, but they seem to perform quite well. So I guess when they win very hard.
Yeah, because they score above average.
Yeah.
Compared to that, even through they have a roughly average win-loss ratio, so close to zero.
So few player like winning very hard, and probably the majority is more losing than winning.
Possibly.
Yeah, for example.
That is very interesting.
And Kapikauki for sure is last place.
Yeah,
with
Kapikauki.
One win on 2 losses.
Oh, poor Kapikauki.
Kapikauki can't get a break.
No, I was hoping they'd be in the new box, but it wasn't to be. It's Assassins, so
no.
There we go.
Not the poster child. Yeah, exactly.
No.
One thing I think that we talked about in our episode, which we can talk about here, is did the game become deadlier compared to not really? Before we had an average on 143, now we have 138 victory points.
Okay. So people have about as much army left remaining as they did before?
So 5 points less on average remaining. It's a little bit deadlier, but not to a huge extent.
Of course, we don't know turn by turn, though, do we? That's the problem.
We don't know turn by turn, but we can also look at lost before. You had 92 left, now you have 88 left. So even if you lose roughly with the same amount of
that makes sense.
So you're short before a retreat. So there might be a lot of games who end up in retreat, and also when you lose, and also like games where you don't end up in retreat, of course.
One thing that happens, the losses still get a little bit more objective points. So it seems that the missions have put a few more objective points in, and here we see the result of the new
the close loss tournament
point. The close loss and the more than 5 points you can get. So it seems even if you lose, it didn't really affect it this much. The most losses are still 0 tournament points, but sometimes you can edge out 1.
Yeah, so rarely losses are giving a tournament point.
Yeah. And if we compare it to victories, I think
that's probably also, I mean,
are still the same from the survival. Again, this like 5-point difference for the surviving points, and the objective points are
the same, really,
roughly the same. Just the tournament points naturally now are much higher.
Sure, because we count it differently now. So yeah,
right.
Makes sense. Interesting. Okay.
So it seems like it didn't get that much deadlier overall.
Not across the entire game, no.
Not across the entire game.
Okay.
Okay, so these are like the one thing that could be interesting is objective points.
The average OP
per faction. There you can see Aleph and combined Cosmoflot, as it seems.
They're scoring
make
a lot
of objective points.
Yeah.
So if they win, they win hard.
Yeah.
As you can see, wins across all factions are pretty consistent, except for here a small outlier, Kabukaki Rama and Tunguska.
So this is interesting because what it's showing is that even when Kapakalki wins, it doesn't win as hard as Combined Army, for example.
Yeah. As other factions. But you can see these are like one of the few outliers. The most of them have pretty consistent average of...
What's the average? About 7 and a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.3.
7.3.
So...
And I mean, that's also very dependable on which missions you play, of course.
Of course.
If you have missions where they like hard turn if you lose or win, and if you win you get like instant 8 points or so.
Yeah.
That's very different to, for example, a rescue where you have to work for every objective point, of course.
Naturally, now we get in the area of very small sample sizes, but if you look where's supplies, supplies. If you look supplies, you see the 6.89. Because I think if you win supplies, you automatically have won it by 6 points or something.
Yeah.
You have a box and stuff more than enemy and stuff, and so you normally win.
Yeah.
So Starco and Caledonia win, but with very low very low objective points.
They don't try to do this.
They just don't manage to get the boxes itself. They just probably get the hold on one box, and that's it.
What was highly classified? I mean,
is this just wins, or is it every?
This is just wins.
Just wins
for the different missions.
One of the things about highly classified, I think, if you have more classifieds, you instantly get 3 OP or something like that. I think.
Yeah.
Which one is one where it's pretty close?
I mean, rescue is very hard. Rescue is very hard.
Rescue. You see, you drop down to around 5 objective points.
So winners on rescue are only getting about 5 OP.
And you see, the 1 in 10, because we only have 300 matches played in rescue, so
of course.
It's very but over the 300 matches, this winner only get around 5 objective points compared to the 7.3 on overall. So it's very mission dependent. Mind wipe? Mind wipe you normally you only have to do one thing to win mind wipe high.
Interesting.
Which one is one that's Biotech War?
About average, I think. Yeah.
Well, Biotech War is about killing people, I think.
Yeah.
The one way around or the other one, it's you manage to do it or not.
Yeah, basically you score more kills or you don't. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. So these are the and
so
maybe victory point.
What we've learned is that rescue is the most miserable mission.
Yeah. To try to score anything, even if you win, you score under 5 objective points, so you only get the 4 tournament points. Often you will lose the extra for the more than 5. Yeah. One small thing, the victory points perfection can also be interesting, as we see combined army, and because they often win. If you take the wins, you can see that there are a lot of factions with high victory points and wins, and some that win, but not a lot of stuff survives.
Yeah.
Especially Ariadna, because they run with so many one wound models around.
And Assassin the same, with very many small models that can easily be taken out.
Yeah, so even if you win with Hack Islam or Assassins, you're still losing a third of your list.
Yeah. Combined to other, I would have thought Nomads would lose more, but I don't think so.
It's not a massive discrepancy, though, is it?
It's like 10-15 points, so it's not that much.
That's interesting.
So I think these are the some of the interesting information we have for the factions. And next, I would say we can go to the lists.
Okay, so shall we start looking at individual factions?
Yeah. So we have the 10,000 lists. We have on average 13.5 units in a list, 11.8 regular, 2.1 irregular, 1.7 impetuous. I think one question was if there was a change to before.
Irregulars, yeah.
Not really. 1.35. Now we have more irregular. Okay, we have more tactical awareness flying.
Yeah, well, we have tactical awareness.
More tactical awareness.
Yeah. What's the average impetuous? Is that?
Yeah, impetuous is also higher.
Oh. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What's the date range on this N3 data?
Is that February 2018 to October 2020?
Yeah, 2.5 years, isn't it? Yeah. And then we're looking at about 2.5 years on the N4 data as well.
Yeah. And we can see not a lot changed.
One of the things that I tell people a lot, and they don't believe it, is that actually a lot of people were running about 13 or 14 units anyway in N3. And I think this shows that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can actually see the 2 outlier were Caledonia, I think.
I believe so.
Service was one, Caledonia.
And Dashat, maybe?
Ariadna. And back here, Dashat with 17 and Ikari.
Yeah.
So these were the outliers.
So the vast majority of factions, or on average, moving to 15 units didn't do that much. Because the average was 13.87 anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
As you can see, and now it's 13.44. So it's a little bit, but not overly dramatic, as I said. It only really affected like Caledonia, who now sit at 14, and back here at Shut, who also were pushed down to 14.
From like 17 to 14 or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they don't have a choice, of course.
No, they do not.
You don't get a choice.
So have irregulars and impetuous changed? Not really. No. Not so much.
Irregular got more, but it could be tactical awareness on packs and stuff, more proliferant. So it that could be a reason for the rise, and impetuous also a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
so I think the answer is not massively,
not a massive change on average. As I said, for specific armies like Caledonia, so still a massive change. Like you have 2 or 3 models less in your army. For these factions, it's changed, but yeah.
Most people not so much. Yeah.
How high was Ariadna in N3?
Ariadna 14.55.
Yeah.
Shocking for me, because I always played like 20 orders.
Now it's 14.58. So
yeah, okay.
Really nothing changed for Ariadna.
It's interesting because I used to play 18 Hack Islam, so it changed for me. But hey, there you go.
1.7 to 50. Yeah. Hack Islam was a change. 15.4 to 14.17. So.
So we lost a unit on average.
Yeah, a unit on average less. So
yeah,
Hack Islam was one of the impacted army.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so individual faction data.
So before, is a faction playing more units than before now?
Ooh.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh man,
that's hard.
Yeah, Pano and JSA, 12.02 to 12.32. So
a little bit. Okay.
A little bit. I think it's Which one would it be?
I was thinking, for example, I don't know, Aleph or so.
Aleph? No, Aleph always had a lot of with their net rods and proxy spam and stuff.
Oh yeah,
They always were high up.
Quite high. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because of we had like a lot of point reductions in many armies. They could have played more than before or so, but
combined has a little bit more, 12.89 to 13.69.
Yeah, but that's because the Avatar halved in price or something silly.
Yeah.
I am joking.
Yeah.
I am joking.
Yeah, totally.
So I think it wasn't really anywhere like there wasn't a massive increase as far as I noticed. Yeah. But then lists. Okay.
Here we go.
For the list, we have the factions, we have the units, we have the profiles, so we can go very deep. For the color coding, gray units are taken in less than 10% of list. Green 10 to 35. Yellow 35 to 55, orange 55 to 80, and red over 80%.
Okay.
I will say, okay, gray is something you are surprised when you see it.
Yeah.
Green is it can happen, but doesn't have to. Yellow, you expect in one of the enemy's list, you have one of those. Orange, you expect to see it. And red, you are surprised if you don't see it.
That makes sense. Yeah. So the more red it is, the more common, essentially.
Yeah, the more common. If we, for example, take naturally here are small points. For example, Aleph, we have Achilles and Achilles V2. They have to be combined. They are 50% because you can't have both of them in the same list.
It's one or the other, isn't it?
It's one of the or the other, but 50% of lists contain one of the Achilles, for example.
Makes sense to me.
I guess.
Atlanta in 40%, I think, is that? 41. Atalanta in 41%.
So, shall we start with red and then work our way down or so?
Yeah, I think for one thing I see for vanilla army, normally the red ones are flashball spots.
Of course,
cheap
sure. Yeah.
Normally that's the red one if you have one.
And net rods and things like that, yeah.
For Aleph, for example, it's post-humans because they're too good to not take.
Sure. Which profiles are taken in post-humans? Probably the Mark II, I'd guess. Or
you have the Doctor, you have the Mark II Hacker, and you have the Forward Observer. These are normally the three you have. Then you have like Engineer, Multi-Sniper, and Heavy Rocket Launcher, Mark IV, sometimes as reaction piece. And the rest of the profiles are not taken really.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Especially the triangulated fire proxy MP5.
Yeah. Because why should you
one list?
One guy tried it out and then okay. And so these are the ones. Then you have yellows for Myrmidons, okay, by Aleph, okay. Shukra, sure.
Can you sort this from max to minimum, or does it not?
Sadly not. No.
No. Okay. So we just have to
always go through alphabetically.
Okay. Dart, I think, is Dart in. That's a yellow, I think. Dart, 44%.
Dart is also pretty popular. One orange one was the Libertos. Yeah. cheap.
Not really surprised.
Good profile. Yeah, and yeah. Normally the mine layer, sometimes the submachine gun. Okay. And as that Achilles with
very
50%
popular.
combined. Generally say, in vanilla, I normally expect most profiles to be gray or green because you have so many profiles. It's hard for a lot of them to
stand out, really.
To stand out and get in a lot of lists. And I'm normally look out for the red, orange, and yellow ones because these are normally like the staple units.
Yeah.
In sectorials, it's normally a little bit different because of fire teams. You often see like the cheap cheerleader models for the defensive fire teams with orange and red because you take 3 Alguacils plus Mobile Brigada rocket launcher for your defensive fire team. And
makes sense. Is it possible to filter the list by the top 33% like you did to the tournament? Or is that not possible?
For the players.
So before you looked at the top 33 placing players?
Yeah.
Could you do that for lists as well?
The players displayed the top 33%.
Yeah, something like that.
Don't know. We have the top.
So now 33. This is the top third of Aleph lists.
Yeah. So here you see Achilles got a little bump, and Achilles the 2 is.
So more Mark 2, less Mark 1, I think.
Yeah, and more Achilles overall with now over 55%.
Yeah, so more Achilles at the top players players. What else is there?
Agemas, Atalanta still. Dart.
Atlanta, Dart. This is the same as before.
Yeah, actually less Atlanta.
There's less Atlanta at the top, isn't there?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Aleph, not a lot has changed.
No.
On top, pretty much everybody plays it the same.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting to me what the difference is between what most players bring and what the top players bring. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Aleph. Makes sense. What's next? Ariadna.
Yeah, Ariadna. So, this empty one up here is the Equip Mirage and Polaris. Because within Army they have such a weird unit file formatting that they fall
into its own thing.
Yeah, into their own
they
thing.
got their own category.
Yeah, they get within a unit army because there's the unit army. This is based on the army unit files, and they are so weirdly structured compared to everything else that the algorithms I wrote puts them into an empty category.
So the Polaris team is in mostly, or more than half of lists. Yeah.
Equip Mirage not so.
Not so much. No.
I thought they would be more popular because
they're quite good.
Yeah, deployments on pursuits. Then SAS. Yeah.
Makes sense. Chasseurs, they're great.
Still very popular.
Yeah.
Even with this extension of Caledonian Volunteers. Here we are again in this order pool stock up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think this is the only profile really taken.
Is the cheap one. Yeah.
We're also taken at some point. Interesting. So Imadinius, of course.
Yeah, Spetsnaz
is great. Yeah, so there's not too much surprising here, is there? Really?
Yeah, Unknown Ranger.
I'm actually surprised that the Unknown Ranger isn't red. I would have thought the Unknown Ranger would be in virtually every list.
Yeah, but this is again, I think the one list has the Unknown Ranger, one doesn't,
and then another doesn't. Yeah, sure. Ushir.
The one thing is we don't know which list is played in the tournament.
Yeah.
In a sense, you bring 2 lists. We don't know which one is played in each round and stuff, so we can't make any mission comparison or something because we don't know. Okay, so which list was played by suppliers? Yeah, we don't know.
So we know what people are submitting in their list, but we don't know what they're putting on the table.
Yeah, because for each mission, the only thing we would know is in tournaments where supplies was a mission, this was in one of the 2 lists.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's and then Uxia is pretty popular. Very strong profile.
Yeah.
What actually surprises me is the Zenith 7.
Being reasonably
20%.
popular.
It's reasonably.
What profile is
more
that?
than I would expect.
The chain of command.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's probably the best one out of the options Ariadna has.
It's interesting though, isn't it?
Or the most flexible one.
Yeah, but no one plays Wallace. What's up?
Not in vanilla.
Yeah, Wallace. Right. I played him. I played him because he's like a good target destroyer on something like Might Wipe.
Are you that one person then? That's
Maybe.
Wallace?
Maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Then Caledonia. Yeah, and here we have the sectorial army list, and you instantly can see completely different to vanilla.
Yeah.
You have a lot of high pick rates on the very few profiles and some that completely are left out.
That makes sense because it just doesn't have as many profiles, does it?
Yeah.
So
you don't have chasseurs, Foxtrot and SS. You only have SS. So
you take
your
SAS.
infiltrator is SAS, and you can see 1.5 SAS per list. So normally you take 2. Then Cameroonians, pretty popular. Yeah. Oh, grey rifles.
Yeah, probably the HMG and the
HMG.
Yeah, AP HMG and the boarding shotgun
with grenades.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's cool.
They are in there because some people play like the Mormare grey rifle Harris.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the smoke grenade is pretty good to have.
Yeah, because that's the cheapest out of the possible options in the
Yeah, and then you have the Mormares also with a very high pick rate.
Sure. Which
one's
NCO?
NCO T2, for the extra order from the lieutenant and the heavy machine gun,
Yeah. I don't think much of this is too surprising.
Highlander Caterans, Yeah,
Caterans are great, aren't they?
Yeah, normally the gray profiles are like the Dozer. Okay, I don't need an engineer here. And here the new ITS bike recon stuff.
That makes sense to me.
They have like very low tractor mules and dozers just because they have so many cheap orders in this army. They really don't need them.
Yeah, you take the volunteers if you need a cheap order.
Right.
Makes sense.
Then you have a chain rifle, and you see William Wallace here
in basically every list, really.
Yeah, basically every list.
Yeah,
you can. If you look at this, you can say, okay, the basic Caledonia list is 1 William, 1 Uxia, 2 grey rifles, 2 SAS, and 3 45ers.
Exactly.
3 volunteers,
and you've
1 more.
Built most of the list at that
2
point.
Caterans,
Okay.
We also have like the picks per list just beside the percentage lists, so you can just read them down.
Yeah.
So these are also
cool. Should we do combined? Let's see.
Yeah, combined. Pretty interesting, I think, because so many people play it. I think it increased the size.
Yeah, make it bigger. It's quite big. Is everyone playing the Avatar? That's the question that I want to know.
Avatar, 33%. So
33%. So not actually.
Yeah, it's like one of these. So some people play it, and some other don't play it. It's like you have a combined army player who doesn't play it, and then you have another combined army player who has it in one of its lists, because you have one avatar list and one list
and one
against non-avatar list.
Sure.
So just 33% is like to expect for people who don't want to play an avatar, and the ones who compared to Achilles, who is in like 50% of all lists, there can be, okay, some people don't play Achilles and other people play Achilles in both of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some are one with and one without.
Yeah.
So what is very played? We've got Datarazi, of course.
Datarazi, Icadrot, Imatron, okay, classic order generating, R-drones. That's just normally in vanilla the stuff. Then Caliban.
Yeah, makes sense. Caliban. Yeah.
Pretty popular. On the edge with the the engineer and then the chain of command. So the engineer is more popular. And normally I see it because engineer Caliban in avatar list, so you don't need so many orders to drag him forward.
Tigers in most lists.
Slave drones, tigers,
2.27 pick, so about 2 to 3.
2 to 3. And hungry compared to the hungries and
Gakis and predators and things,
not really. They don't really compare to the tiger. So you see the tiger profile was just too overperforming compared to the other hungry profiles.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Fine. What about anathematic? What are we on with that?
Anathematic
25.
25 and 17 for shot droids. So
that's interesting. So 1 in 3 lists has an avatar, 1 in 4 has an anathematic. So actually, you're only a little bit more likely to see an avatar than an anathematic, really.
How about Cheskin?
Oh yeah, Cheskin. Is she at the top somewhere?
How is the naming convention for Cheskin?
Shasvasti.
She's quite near the top, I think.
Oh.
It's Agent Cheskin.
Yeah, it's Agent Cheskin, I think, something like that.
Here's the boarding action, not
That's
taken.
the heavy infantry one, I think.
And here's the Catamus. 12%. So I think this is a really hard fall off from before.
She was really high before with the fatality in N3.
Yeah. She was. I think she is Shasvasti.
Shasvasti.
Because they changed the naming format, and she's up and here Agent Cheskin. No, it's again the boarding action one.
The one below it there is just 10%.
10%.
10 to 11. That's fine. I think she only really received fatality near the end, I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Before she was completely unnecessary, but you can see Cheskin, 10% I think is healthy for a profile because it's pretty specialized and still popular, but not as meta dominating as at the end after the Shasvasti rework.
Yeah. Okay. What else is? Oh, actually, what about the named Norkias? Norkias. I think he's near the bottom of the list somewhere.
Yeah, it's Umbra.
There he is, Umbra Norkias. 18% of lists.
18%.
Okay.
Not bad. And one thing, T-drone, so missile launcher, 14%. So, well, okay.
Could we do combined army with 0.33%?
Oh yeah, the top list, the top combined army.
I should.
But I expect some stuff to be taken more regularly.
What's changed?
Datarazi.
Has the avatar changed?
Avatar? No.
Still the same.
Pretty much.
Anathematic or anything like that changed?
This could be.
Not really.
Fanatics, 29, not much flow.
No, it's about the same.
Still pretty much everything. The missile launch. No, still everything's pretty much the same.
1%. It's about the same.
So
okay, yeah, interesting.
Not a lot of change there. I don't know. It's like
there's not a lot to see here. There aren't very many profiles.
Yeah, not a lot of people playing it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, next one then, Drew's. Again, quite...
Again, I open and close all of them, so people who are interested can pause and look over it.
55% Clippers, so missile launcher drones in Drew's.
Yeah, because it's the good...
They fire team in Drew's, I think.
Good fire team in Drew's. Yeah. So that's actually pretty nice.
Merovingia,
yeah.
This will entertain about 5 people.
Yeah.
Everyone plays
3 chasseurs and 3 metro and else,
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Do they play the Anaconda? Oh yeah, also with 11%. Okay.
Yeah.
Foreign company again.
Quite a small one.
Everybody who is interested, and then we get Hakislam.
Here is the only faction I care about, frankly.
Okay, good. So after this we can close up store. So other unit, 55%.
That's interesting.
Didn't see that one coming.
No, neither did I. I'm guessing the hacker. Would you mind just checking that?
Yeah, and should be the hacker.
I would guess it's the hacker.
No, yeah, the hacking device.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, okay, it's like the only hacker midfield option.
Right.
You only have the forward observer, and
you've got the Tuareg, the Mim 6 one, but it's really expensive.
Too expensive compared to half a unit in the option.
Azavira,
52%.
Sure, so about half of Hack Islam list has an Asawira. How is it split actually? Because some people like the Doctor.
Doctor?
So
not taken really.
No, okay, that's interesting. I know some people like
Lieutenant and the normal as a Spitfire.
AP Spitfire profile for your attack piece.
So probably many guys play Azavira Lieutenant with a chain of command.
Yeah, some do it, and Dailami. Naturally,
in a lot of
you
lists.
have your nice two Dailamis per list with camouflage, infiltration. Panzerfaust, one guy took the rifle shotgun profile. Okay.
Flash Pulse.
Flash Pulse Ghazi fell off pretty hard, 44%. I think they were.
I would be surprised if they were like less than 60 or something before, but we'll see.
Yeah. Was Ghazi oder was hier
Mutawir?
Mutawir, yeah, 72%.
72% down to 44?
Yeah, 44%. So
they're still in lists.
They're still in lists. They are still popular, but pretty
really nice spread. That's a nice spread, isn't it?
With the boarding shotgun profiles, popular, and the chain rifle jammer defensive profile.
Cheap one,
I think that this rework was actually pretty nice.
That's a nice rework.
A pretty good rework.
No one is picking the Emirat. Interesting.
Yeah, because before it was the chain rifle Emirat.
It was just one of the profiles.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was like the one and only.
Yeah.
Ghulam infantry, naturally the lieutenant and the doctor most likely.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Only the doctor. The lieutenant isn't really taken.
That's interesting because I am probably most of those 8. Like I run that in.
I also like the lieutenant plus 1 command token profile.
I really like it.
Are we still in 33% area or in all?
We're still in 33%.
Oh, we're in top 33.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, but even though, half.
Still half.
Still half, but fell off, I think, 6% points or something like this, yeah?
Yes, it did.
8% points. So it's really popular in the top. Hava is really popular in the top performing.
Asawira, I would expect as well.
Yeah, Dailami.
Actually, does the Asawira get more or less popular at the top 33%? So what is it on there? It's 51%. on this, and then if we go back 52, it doesn't change. It doesn't really change.
It doesn't change. The Lamy is more popular in the high. Yeah, but not by much.
Not by much. No. Okay.
Okay.
What else do we have here?
Ghazi, Ghulam.
The Bereed hacker. Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah. Killer hacker or normal hacker?
Oh, both of them are good.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
pretty evenly. 30 6. Oh, nice.
For days, obviously, I don't think we need to be surprised about the
for days. Yeah. It's a staple unit.
Yeah,
the Fazar most like is this the chain of command?
That's the chain of command. And there's a nice forward observer as well, which is okay.
Yeah. The mine lane not. You don't need. You have the Lamy. Why do you need a line?
You have Liberto as well. You know.
Yeah, and Liberto.
Not too surprising here.
Yeah, Liberto.
Yeah, of course.
Staple unit. Mukhtar.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not higher, but the MSV one's great.
Then the helper bot, the Rafik bot. Yeah. And then Zuleika.
Of course, yeah, Zuleika's great.
Yeah, it's isn't even a question anymore.
No. Although Zamira just got quite good, so I think coming up we might see that change.
Yeah, maybe now she has got Berserk.
Yeah, she has Berserk and EMCC.
EM she always had, but the Berserk now is pretty good against tags for the free strike with EM on attack.
It's a bit disgusting, yeah.
Instant deletion. No, that's a pretty interesting. I like there are a lot of green profiles, so there's a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, you have Missilebot 23%, pretty popular compared to combined army.
What about the Hunzerkut, actually, I'd be interested in. It's near the top of the screen. 23. 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the Hunzerkut plus Missilebot is a nice little combo, because you have that forward deploying repeater.
Yeah, forward observer.
Yeah. It has repeaters, though, as well, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Shall we do...
and Hussein sometimes.
Yeah, should we do Assassins?
Yeah, I think there's... again, for Sectorial.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we have? Ghulam, naturally. The Link team.
Lots of Ghazi, lots of Ghulam.
Yeah, a little bit more. Dalami
69% Hayara Haddad. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's one of the only MSVs in the faction, I think.
Yeah. True. Don't have... You have an MSV1, I think?
Govads. But they're not amazing.
Govads are pretty bad compared to them. And then you name Yaradat. She's cheaper, better weapon with the AP. And bioimmunity, so 3 armor.
Cool. All right. Should we do a card?
Not here. Oh,
well, the Nadir is a hidden deploy ARO. I think it's quite good. Yeah.
The forward observer Flammspeer profile for the template.
It's very
ARO.
good.
They're very nice. Yeah, but yes, very nice. Ikari, short.
Just show this and
Wow, everyone playing the Keisotsu Tenko core link.
Can you play something else?
I mean, it's the only arrow link they have in this army, so wow.
Yeah.
It's not really surprising.
Yeah.
Imperial Service. Yeah.
Kongshi. Okay, cool. Yeah.
You need it. You have it. You need it. You do it.
What a nice spread of a faction. Lovely spread, isn't it?
Very nice spread. You have the Kongshi for your orders, and then very nice spread out. You have like the Major Lua. Very cool
good
reaction
sniper.
piece.
Yeah.
Stop attacks and Suyan.
Suyan's great. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's nice.
But Zhangxing. Wait.
I think they fire team. That's why. I think there's a Harris with them or something.
Yep.
Harris with the MSV Hissien.
I believe so.
Most likely. But still.
Yeah.
They're taking more often in the Hissien.
Interesting.
Looks much more healthy than a lot of other armies.
This is a very healthy spread for an army because even though it's a sectorial, it's the one core Quan Chi link team. Must take, and after that, pretty even spread, and bow troops. Nobody takes bow troops.
Well, nobody takes
and the grey ones are pretty much characters, and the ITS models, Miranda Ashcroft.
Yeah, Sunse is not taken because
Sunse,
because too expensive.
Yeah. In 10% of the lists, one of the two.
Probably. One of the two in 10%, but still, you're not going to see it very often, really.
Not really incentive, but 60 points for a guy with a multi-rifle or boarding shotgun or whatever he has.
Let's
this
flick
was
through quickly.
Invincible army.
Daoyang.
Your Daoyang control unit.
Yeah, the Shang-Chi will be in there on orange. Yeah, it's 62%.
Haidao, Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi,
Yeah, makes sense.
A little bit.
Don't need to overanalyze that. I think it's quite.
Yeah, you have not, because of the high point cost, you don't have that many options. Tech? No. Okay.
No.
Haktao? 80%, yeah.
18%. JSA.
Japanese.
Very popular faction.
Very popular and
reasonably healthy.
Kentai, Ryuken, very good. Which one is taking at the moment? The heavy rocket launcher.
Yeah, it's quite cheap, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's quite cheap and good reaction piece because the Keisatsu missile launcher isn't very good.
What's next? Have we got Nomad sectorials?
Then the 3 jurisdictional command. Bakunin?
Kunin. Moderators.
With moderators, 100%.
And Riot Girls, because Riot Girls are really cool.
For the Link team.
Yeah. But quite even apart from that, really.
Zeros for the thing. So people, taken very often. Yeah. It's a good combo. Reverend Custodius. What happened there?
Is it the hacker?
Hacker and Lieutenant Hacker. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder because Nomad I also thought they would take the moderator Lieutenant. Moloch group. Okay, clear. Überfallkommando. Yeah. 60% Überfallkommando. Yeah.
Sure.
Where is this missile?
Vertigo. What? It's the Vertigo. You're.
There.
Yeah.
25%, similar to Hack Islam. So
But it is interesting, that the missile bot isn't in that many lists, really. Like it's around, but it's not super popular.
I guess it's one in one of 4 lists, so half of the people probably play them in one of the lists.
One of the lists,
Which one's this? Is this Corregidor?
Corregidor, we have Alguacils, Jaguars, naturally, and Dactaris, Link Able, Evader. Super, very good problem. McMurder, and then Mobile Brigada and Masai. Pretty popular. One thing, Gecko, nice, 25%.
That's cool.
Nearly. And Justin Believe with 56%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by
that. The FTO profile, because it's linkable here.
Okay. Tunguska.
Kowalski? 23%. Okay. Yeah, Tunguska now. Grenzer.
The marksmanship sniper.
Yeah, the marksmanship sniper,
Yeah.
The staple profiles. Pupnautica, very good.
Securitate for the fire teams. This is
the hacker not it's the mine layer and then the forward observer and the marksman rifle and red fury pretty much for the other. One Perso is for close combat smoke, Sayut, Securitate, for Link team. Followman, Transductor, Interventor, Vertigo again 24%. So expected Cosmoflot. Polaris 66%.
It's interesting because there seem to be more must takes in this faction. You've got Polaris, you've got SAS, you've got Rocket. There are a lot of very high.
Unknown Ranger.
Yeah.
Uxia, Varangians und the What's
Volkolak missile launcher.
So it feels as though Cosmoflot lists almost write themselves, because there are 5 or 6 profiles there that are really, really high.
Yeah.
And there are also like a lot of units in there which you very rarely see, like Kaden or the other character, Pavel McManus. So they're just in the same category as other units in this army, but don't perform well enough for their points, so they're just not taken.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You have your Wallace and sometimes the Zenith again with the chain of command and the AP sniper profile. Okay.
Out one out of 2 lists have William Wallace in it.
Yeah.
Also the lieutenant? I guess so.
Yeah, normally
should be
the lieutenant. I would think.
Yeah.
Lieutenant. Two lists with the
two lists with the non-lieutenant.
With a lieutenant bait.
Yeah. What's after Cosmo? Military orders?
Yeah, military orders, yes.
Very popular faction. Nice spread. Look at that. That's lovely. So what's the biggest take? The light infantry.
Light infantry, the Fugazi for the orders, and the
Teutonic. I mean, Teutons are amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. You have 2.5 per list. Like, okay.
I guess the out includes there are Teutonics and Trinitarians and Crossiers, probably pretty much. But
there's a lot of green there, isn't there? A lot of sometimes.
A lot of green, sometimes in between, and the non-taken, the Clipper bot, because not the missile tactic, Crusader Brevens, bad profile. Konstantinos, the ITS profiles. John Arc, mobility armor, because I don't know why they
one of the 2 Jones is in 20% of lists.
Not that many. No. I mean, not that many yellow orders in it as well.
What about the tick? The tick must be very high. The tick Phalanx.
Tick Phalanx, 21%.
Only 20. I'm really surprised. I'm really, really surprised.
So most players tend to play like a Harris Fire Team or so instead of a Tick Phalanx.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're not playing the Tick Phalanx.
Of course the Teutonic Knight link, but besides that, they tend to spread it out.
I'm really surprised. I would have thought the tick would be very high. Well, there you go. Okay. Interesting.
Morat. Yeah, Morat is a little bit problematic because they're old profiles, new profiles.
Okay, so we can't analyze this too much because they have old and new profiles.
Yeah, because I have the army data. There are still the old army data in this with the new army data. Some because when they do an army update, they often just update the existing profiles and rewrite them. So some stuff, most stuff is in here is the old profiles mapped to the new stuff.
Yeah, so we can't really analyze this, to be honest.
Not that great. So it's we can see Suryat. Okay. So we can really drill down because here a lot of stuff is pushed up and down.
Yeah, it's changed. Okay. Shall we do the next one? What is it? NCA, I think.
NCA.
Neoterra. I'd be surprised if it's not bolts.
Fugazi, Fusilier, Machinist, bolts. Yeah, bolts. Most likely also the
probably the sniper.
Yeah, multi-sniper. It's pretty much the Granza equivalent.
Yeah, there's a reasonable spread, isn't there?
Yeah, with hacking, killer hacking, lieutenant.
There's a Spitfire one, I think. I wonder.
The drop gear profile. Missile launcher Spitfire. Yeah, it's pretty even spread over overall. Nope. Swiss Guard. Yeah.
Quite common. Cool. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Tax here, Squallow, 17%. Ulans, not taken. Okay.
Not taken very often. No.
Yeah. Then Nomads.
Vanilla Nomads. This should be quite interesting. Because this really is the faction that's known for the guided missiles. So if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be here.
Yeah, we have the Jess and Billy combo, not the FTO profile, 62%.
Yeah, not really surprised.
Not really surprised.
So Imperial is also up there?
Yeah, so people 18%.
Yeah. Okay.
Salamandra, about 25%, 26% of lists. Salamandra.
Yeah. Pretty popular. Yeah, okay, it's a pretty nice beef stick with good hacking support.
Uberfull Commando 45. Not surprised by that. It's a good profile.
Moloch Gruppe. Intruders fell off.
They have fallen off, haven't they?
37 because I know they were like a must take before.
Where are Intruders? Yeah, there they are. They were 69. 68.9.
Yeah.
And now they've gone down.
Now they've gone pretty much nearly halved. Like, not taking that much anymore because I think it's too predictable and not that strong in the execution anymore.
2 Morans in
moderators,
lists.
naturally. Now with the Lieutenant profile.
Yeah.
Pushed out the Interventor because before the Interventors were really high up. Now it's like 32% still healthy, but
not as high.
They were.
Where's the
Interventors? 65%.
What else? Puppet Tactica.
Yeah, the Moran, naturally.
Yeah, sure. 75% for Moran.
Why not? With the repeater profiles.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Moderators really shine out because they got like a 2 SVC point reduction.
Yeah, and +1 willpower.
As well.
Like, Pop Nautica, very popular. And Vertigo Zones. 37.
Yeah,
so this is clearly higher than the 25% for Hakislam and stuff.
So if you're going to bump into guided missiles, it's probably Nomads.
Yeah.
Most likely. 37, there's still 1 in 3 lists. 1 in 3 Nomads
It's like before some players don't take it and other players take it in one of the lists. And the one is the Sunbot down here.
Okay. 012, I think, is the next one.
Only 44% for Transductors, so over half of all lists don't have any flashbot spot. Interesting.
I think between the moderators and
moderators is and the general cheap orders, general cheap profiles you can get that actually do something you don't really need a Transductor.
I was just thinking because it's a repeat as well.
It is.
So, but
it is.
Apparently they don't secure their deployment zones as well.
Yeah, because they have the for deployed repeater and for Specfield you have your great hackers.
And also pitchers, of course.
I think vanilla Nomads as well, quite notoriously so, have quite a weak deployment zone, and obviously you can sort of see that they're taking lots of Morans and not the flashball spots.
Sure.
Onto 012. What's that's in almost every list? Gangbusters in 72%.
Gangbusters and Kutter, the flashball spot.
The flashball spot, okay.
Yeah, Gangbuster. It's like the it's the best cheap for deployed specialist there, so I have to take it.
Quite a nice spread here though. There's a lot of green, isn't there?
Yeah, a lot of green, a lot of yellow, not that much orange. It's Varangian Guard, okay, it's the cheap warband.
Yeah.
It's pretty much only smoke they have, so yeah, sure.
Is that the tag in about 18% of lists? So not that common, really.
Not a common. Which one is the methyl bot for?
What's it called? I can't remember.
I think it's the peeler, isn't it?
I think peeler, yeah.
No, that's the HMG.
Reaction by 31%. Nice.
Oh.
Wait, let me look.
See if I can find it on the side.
Millicent.
Millicent.
Here. 20%, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Normal spread, okay.
It's interesting because for most of the factions we've seen, the missile bot isn't that popular, really.
Yeah, it's like as the occasional pick you is go for the missile launcher strategy. Andromeda, not that popular anymore.
Sometimes, yeah.
Alpha unit, classic
lieutenant isn't it?
Yeah, so it's too good a profile to miss out on.
I mean, same for Catherine Cho. She's also was popular because, I mean, cheap NCO, cheap chain of command, so sure.
Just be quick for Onyx. It's quite not too popular.
Yeah, Nexus Operative, Mech, Dr. Worm.
Sure. Yeah.
Icatron, Imatron, Slaves, and Unidrone. Xenodrones, 30%. Nokia's 30%.
Yeah.
I mean, you play like a Unidrone core link with a Nexus in it, and that's
the most of the faction, isn't it?
Yeah,
pretty much.
T-drone not very popular. Okay, so
what about the tag Xeodron?
Which is interesting because they have Bit and Kiss, but they don't have the strong hacker in it, so they don't play the missile launcher tactics.
Yeah, but they have 29% Xenodrone, 20% Overdrone.
Okay, so quite a lot of the lists have a tag.
Yes,
and swings. Also nearly 20%.
Yeah, so you're probably going to see a tag, aren't you?
Yeah. It's one of the three options normally, yeah.
Okay.
And Xenodron's 1.52, so the Harris is also popular.
It's a funny Harris.
Yeah.
OSS, I think.
Yep. Operations.
Haven't seen OSS on the table for a long time, I must say.
Yeah. Dakinis.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Netrods, Posthumans, classics. Probots, Sugar.
Yeah. This doesn't surprise me.
That's what you expect. Asura is 30% of the list.
Which Asura profile?
Oh yeah, let's check out the Asura profile.
The Lieutenant Hacker with one extra order.
Yeah, that's I think the strongest one of them. Yeah. Marut.
Where's the Marut? Roughly 20%.
Okay.
Roughly 20%.
What was the missile? Is it a missile?
Is it the Samek?
Samek.
Here. 29%. Similar to over average with the FTO profile.
Yes, because it fire teams, doesn't it?
Yeah, fire team. So you have the body in the fire team, and you can do guided with the Dakinis.
Yeah.
The good flash pulls guided shot.
I'm very curious about Pano now because it's one of the vanillas that's not so popular. So what are people actually taking in Pano?
What do we have? No missile bot. Pano really don't like it.
No, they don't. They do not like it. So what's standing out here? We've got the regulars, of course. That's a cheap mine layer.
We have no real must pick except for Palbots, and the rest.
So it's very spread.
Very spread. Very. Is it not played that often?
No.
Not that many lists, but the lists they are. This could be a reason why they don't perform as well, because you really lack this core to take within the army.
Would you mind checking the top 33% Pano to see if there's something that comes up that's very, very common in this? I wonder if there's more regulars become more popular.
Regulars become more popular.
Helots very popular.
Helots, yeah.
What's the main take? What's the actual big expensive piece that people are running?
Is it something like
Tikbalang at 28%?
No, I guess Tick at 28%. What about the cutter? Have we seen the cutter on here? That would be under C near the top.
Cutter 20%.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, and the Dragao.
You play 44% of diggers.
Yeah.
It's so if you're playing against a top Pano list, it's going to be lots of diggers and cheap regulars, and then some kind of tag like the tick or the cutter.
Yeah, but no Joan. So
no Joan. No, people
really,
aren't running Joan, are they?
I thought I would have expected that the Teutonic Knight is more played, but apparently.
Oh, the Kahu, the Feuerback.
Oh yeah.
There it is, 36%.
Kahu?
Okay.
Yeah. Kahu.
It will be the Feuerback.
Feuerback or Engineer. The Engineer profile is pretty nice with attack because it's a dual link with most of the time with the tick Phalanx.
Should we go back to all of the lists and see? So the Kahu is 36 on the top lists. And what is the Kahu on all of them? If we scroll down a bit.
Kahu 25.
So it's more popular in the top list than it is for all of the lists. And Joan is also more popular in all lists. So top lists tend to not run Joan, and other lists do.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, because it looks like a strong pick, but in the end, you lose too much out on probably good picks.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. You need to take. Do you have a chain of command?
Yes, you've got the new knight. This what's it called?
Yeah, but
Sepulchre.
It's also 50. Yeah, but it's 50 points. So...
Or bold. Also have chain of command.
Okay, so
where is the Knight of the Sepulchre actually? Knight.
Santiano, Teutonic, Sarah.
Where is the Sepulchre Knight?
Is it Holy Knight or so?
Yeah.
Is Holy Order? No, Santiago.
No, Hospitaller. I don't know where this is.
Here.
Equestrian Order.
Yeah, not
8%. Then it's not taken. Not very often.
Not really often. Interesting. Because again, too expensive a profile to pair with John when you want both of the profiles to do something.
It's about 100 points, isn't it? So.
Yeah. Right.
So
interesting.
You can't really play that. And I think this John picks here is because it's
39. So what I'm really interested in is the fact that Joan is quite popular with all lists, but much less popular for the top list. Yeah. That's really, really interesting to me. Okay, what comes after Pan?
Ogia, Kapokaki, the 5 lists we have.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sadly they can't do really much. Shambazan,
sure.
Hafsa, Gulam, Layla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Azrael.
Yeah, sure. Azrael. They fire team as well and stuff, so they're cool.
AP, HNG, best.
And then Rama.
Oh,
what's that? Gulam, of course, because they're great.
Gulam, Kamen,
Yeah.
Because you need some smoke and movability in your list.
Quite an even sectorial though, isn't it? Apart from that, like there's lots of
you have your default defensive fire team filler and the order and the smoke provider, and after that you're pretty even.
It's interesting because there's stuff that I would say is auto take, like the Ziodan, but actually in reality it's 50%.
You don't have to forget Ziodan is only as good as it is now since the fire team update. So
that's true.
Before like a half year or so.
Yeah.
So in probably the last half year, it got picked in nearly every list, I guess.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
No, me neither. So.
When was the fire team update?
Oh, I don't know.
April? May?
Should we just do from summer onwards, like August or something?
One moment, I think I have. Fire team rules new there.
Oh, very nice. You already have a filter for that.
Yeah, I have built it for the last one because some people will ask me setting.
Yeah, Ziodan up to 77. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest, pretty. Beast Hunter,
Namur got picked up more now, and also the Mukhtar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, Namur. with the tactical awareness profile I came in, then
maybe we just keep this filter on actually for the rest, I guess, because they changed the fire teams a lot, didn't they? So, Shaz.
Shrouded. Sheske. 30% of the list has a Sheskin in it.
Caliban is very high at 78. Very, very high for the Caliban. It's Shazvasti Caliban, so it's near the bottom. Very 78%.
Normally the chain of command, the engineer, not so much the Spitfire profile. Okay.
Where's the specular on this actually?
Specular, 73%. Yeah,
makes sense to me. Probably the mine layer.
The mine layer profile.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's just too good for to lose also. Tigers and swings 25%. Okay.
Yeah. Shock Army. The top performing Pano Sectorial.
Yeah. Regulars,
they make that nice team. Yeah.
Fugazis.
Montessa's popular.
Machinist with Montessa, Nagas, very good profile. Tikbalang, 50% of the lists.
Yeah, so half of the lists have a Tikbalang in them.
And Clipper, 15%. So
that's interesting.
That's one of the sectorials of Pano that actually takes the missile bot.
I guess there's quite strong hacking, isn't there? No, I don't think it can link, but you've got Nagas and for hacking.
You get Nana and Skiller.
Skiller.
Right.
Yeah.
Clara.
So the hacking isn't bad in the faction.
Yeah. So you can actually take it. Spiral Corps. Bloop.
Yeah, the link. I just looked at it. The link. The bot is not linkable at all.
Okay.
Then we have it's Tohaa. It's Kelta, Kriegel, Tagma, Kauri for the
Janstar, the impersonator, 35%.
Diplomat, 50. Dral, basic. Success, Hey, but brawlers 40%. Okay.
Yeah, the brawlers are one of the can link together with right.
Yeah, and then you have the viral sniper and the 5-man core link or something like this.
Starco
again. One of the mercenary companies.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Starco.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also the basic infantry seem pretty even spread.
Yeah. So there's lots of cheap stuff in here, isn't there?
Yeah, Knauf taken 66.
He can fire team in Starco. So you have he can fire team. Yeah.
Then it's even better, Mobile Brigada.
Burst Force Sniper.
Yeah, it's really good. And
with MSV, Space Shock, and
it's really good. Star
Marder. Oh. We have
Kappa, cheap stuff, isn't it?
Epsilon, now linkable, so pretty cool HMG profile.
Very nice HMG.
Zeta 22%, Varangians 70%.
And the Raven, I obviously get used, of course.
Yeah.
Has mine layer, I think, doesn't it?
Hector. 25%. Okay, Hector 25.
Oh, actually, we've got Steel Phalanx next, so I'd be interested to see that, actually. What are people running in Steel Phalanx after the Fireteam update? Well, it's very evenly spread, isn't it, actually?
Yeah.
Machaon
is Machaon still.
Yeah.
Myrmidons. Netrod, okay,
sure.
Order. Phoenix, still great, and Toraa Kitai.
Okay.
No Achilles, so you really 20% Achilles lists. If you
play
Achilles, you play vanilla.
It's rarely in Phalanx because he's so expensive and he doesn't have the support from all the mercenary units.
Yeah, you play Hector more often than Achilles, and
Atalanta in half of the lists, 53.
Yeah. great reaction piece. And who's the big guy?
Ajax, the 3-winged guy, or
yeah, Ajax. 33%.
Okay.
Okay.
Lots. Nice, so a couple of the characters really stand out there, don't they?
Yeah, because because with the link ability to the Myrmidon, so you have Myrmidon Torquetai, high pick rate for to link them with the Machaon, Phoenix, and some other guy.
Yeah, but only 2.2 Myrmidons per list. So you usually play like one Myrmidon link and then one Torquetai link or so. And that's it.
Also, remember their fire teams only go up to 4, so you're less likely to see like 3 or 4 of the cheap dudes.
They have a fire team with Machaon, Phoenix, and 2 Myrmidons, and then a second one with Torquetai, with, I don't know, Hector or someone else.
That makes sense. Yeah, makes sense to me. Where were we? Svalaheimer.
Svalaheimer, yeah. Fusiliers, yep. Okay, Fusiliers, Fugazis, Kahu, yeah. Kahu here most likely with the Feuerbach here.
Yeah.
Because linkable Feuerbach with burst 4.
Which is amazing.
Is this the highest proportion? Is that 90% of Fusiliers? I don't think I've seen anything as high in anything else. Maybe.
I think Kulams in Rama were a little bit higher, but
but there are 10% of all lists don't run a Fusilier.
They're weird though. Those people are wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, Pattery, Frontonics, yeah.
Frontonic, okay. Yeah.
Spetsnaz
is great.
Line Kazakh, Strelok, yeah, great pick.
And Veteran Kazakh.
Naturally, Veteran Kazakh plus Line Kazakhs for 5.
Surprised that Antipodes are only at, 33 on Antipodes?
Yeah, only 32% pick rate.
Scout is picked more often than them.
That's really interesting to me.
Especially since Strelov, so yeah, but you have this huge camo midfield presence with Scouts and Strelok's all combined.
I guess. Interesting. Dog Warriors are really high. Hang on a second, was that 45% on Dog Warriors?
Yes.
Dog Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Because I think this is the only dog...
It is.
In this army.
Yeah.
So you have your Acid Pack, but also the Dog Warriors with total immunity to go through some stuff.
White Banner.
White Banner.
If I don't see the Shang-Chi HMG here, I will be shocked.
Shang-Chi Invincible, 75, and HMG Technical Awareness.
Guilang. They're amazing, yes.
Yeah, the Shaolin.
And they can fire team now, can't they? The Shaolin, so very popular.
Yeah, they go in a fire team with either...
is it Jing Kuo or Liang Kai?
Yeah, right.
Liang Kai, yeah.
So what's more popular, actually, Liang Kai or Jing Kuo? Which character is taken more
Liang
often?
Kai, 32.
Yeah, and Jing
Kuo, 29.
So Liang Kai slightly.
Slightly, but not much.
Not too much, no.
Yeah, long Yas, defensive.
Yeah, makes sense to me. They're really, really good.
Mine Layer Panzerfaust profiles.
Very good profile, yeah.
And Shang-Chi, yeah. And then now I think Tohaa. Now we get Chloe, I think. 91% okay, Keltar specialists.
Sure, they're in every list.
Not any. I think they were 98% before.
Really, that's amazing.
Yeah, they were. This was absolutely nuts. You could see, 96% for Keltar specialists.
Wow.
So now it's
91.
Yeah, now it's 91 with the light shotgun Symbiobomb.
Yeah, and the chain of command with the...
And the chain of command. I think the problem is the Symbiomates equipment. It's not.
It's listed elsewhere, isn't it?
But still, the non-chain of command character is more popular than the chain of command one.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, Makahuls are out include, but yeah.
Yeah, Makahuls are in there as
not
well.
really surprising.
Because why should you put Camels in your link teams?
Yeah.
But you have still 39% Camels.
Janstar, I'm curious, only 39%. I would have personally said that's an auto include, but hey, I'm not a Tohaa player.
Yeah.
A 2-wound impersonator sounds quite good to me.
I mean, Takiuls with S64 is much more like an auto include, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. But pretty evenly spread. Holy shit. 64%, but
that's really
not
surprising.
really a standout profile. Really, everything's taken.
That's surprising. Okay. What do we have after this?
Ariadna.
USA. Yeah, cool. What are people playing in? Well, obviously
89% grunts.
Yeah. 98. Yeah, 98%.
98%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Unknown Ranger in 80% of lists.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And lots of foxtrots, an average of 2. In 80%.
2 foxtrots per list. Yeah. I think they have such a low amount of profiles, and some of the profiles are just okay. Why is there?
Yeah, I mean,
like the Minutemen.
There are 3 profiles which you don't see, which is the Dozer, which is an engineer you don't need. The Tractor Mules, which is an order you don't need because the army already has like too many too cheap units, or I mean, not too few expensive units to spend your points really.
And Warcores because
Warcores same.
Dan Varuna.
Probably lots of Helots, lots of Fusiliers if I had to guess.
Fusiliers, Helots on Kamau.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, sure. Kamau Sniper.
Zulu Cobras.
It must still be the Kamau Sniper, right? Or has it changed?
Yeah.
Mostly.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the Hacker. In some.
A third of lists.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. Do they use the Clipper? Nope. Okay.
And 33% on cutters. So orcs are more common than them.
Yeah, 33% orcs are 40.
42, yeah, kind of. Or 40?
42.
Don't know.
40 for Puppet. Marunas, then white companies like 44% Clipper. Okay.
I think they have a really good hacker. I think they've got an Aleph hacker.
Exactly, the Danavas.
Yeah.
Danavas hacker.
And the Danavas is very popular, so those two will be taken together, won't they? I think.
Pretty much, because also you have like a Guilang with mine layer or repeater.
Right. Yeah.
And stuff on hacker, so you have pretty good hacking presence early on in the game.
Kahu is common. The Hideout is common. This doesn't surprise me too much. Some good guns and some good hacking. It's white company.
Yeah. And Varangian Guard for cheap.
Cheap
smoke
orders.
And orders.
And then the last faction, I think.
Yujing.
Right at the end here.
Yeah, with the Dao Ying.
Yeah, sure. The lieutenant.
Flying Quan Shi. Yeah,
of course.
Shaolins, and I think that's.
Which heavy infantry is the most common then?
I think it was the Hak Tao.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it was.
Yeah, with nearly 50%.
Yeah, nearly 50 on that.
Yeah, 46 for the Guilang. This is the best you can. I think the other ones like Hisien and Crane.
Where's the Crane's not popular? Where's the Sien?
Hisien
6
also
popular.
Absolutely not popular.
What a Shangji?
14%.
Yeah, 14%.
So it really is just the Haktao, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's the
really
Haktao.
just the Haktao.
Or the Sujiang, I think.
Sujiang close to 19.
20%.
Yeah,
19, 20%.
yeah.
So more popular at least as the Jiangxi.
That's interesting. Longya in half of the lists. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
makes sense to me.
Very good profile.
Yeah, and that's
I think
about
there
it.
were not a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
So
we've done it.
It's very evenly spread in Yujing.
It is.
Which unit kills people? I mean, beside Haktao, of course.
Well, that's every faction.
Yeah, gone through once. And I think that's also the data we have.
Yeah, I think that's
currently.
Everything. Is there anything else you can think of?
Not really. I think we had some questions. We can look through them if we haven't answered one.
I think we've looked at most of them. I'm just going to get my phone out and have a quick flick through. Come on, phone. What do we have? Are there any recognizable variations between metas in terms of popular armies? Oh, could you look at the faction picks by country?
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Participants.
So yeah, let's see. Maybe the US versus Spain versus Australia, perhaps. So in the US, military orders is still top. Combined is very popular.
Yeah, but
OSS and Japanese, yeah.
This seems about the same as we saw before. Okay, what about Spain? Because they have a lot of events, don't they?
Spain, yeah.
Shaz, very popular.
Shaz, very popular.
Ariadna falls down a lot. Ariadna falls down and Cosmo goes up. That's interesting. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Huh. And then what else? Let's do Australia.
EU?
What's
changed? They playing here? Like a lot of combined army.
They really like combined army.
Is it Australia? Yeah, it's Australia. Okay, good.
And I mean, also like O12.
O12 has gone up as well, I think.
Yeah, compared to España. Yeah,
and but military order lost like all of it.
Normally, military order is super popular everywhere, but not for the Australians.
So Spain loves military orders. Australia does not.
Yeah, America also, US also loves like military orders. Germany,
that's interesting.
For me.
That's really interesting. So a couple of local variations in a few factions, but
in pigs, yeah. But again, relatively low sample size. So
yeah, it's not big. I think we've covered mostly everything else. No, I can't think of anything. Anything else from you guys?
From my side, no.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I am going to end the stream. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this. It's been really, really interesting. And we'll maybe have to do it in maybe 6 months' time again or something to see what's happened.
Yeah.
Amazing.
For the next season.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, ciao. Bye.